Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. Definitely feels a little bit better than that full moon eclipse energy last week that was pretty volatile and mean and, well, not very fun. So I hope you're feeling it. I hope it feels better for you. I It does for me, for sure. We'll talk about it. I want to let you know that we're over in the chat room, and you can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. Click on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. Also, you can find this event being live streamed on Facebook or YouTube, Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic. So, any way you slice it, you are welcome. And I am keeping an eye on the Facebook chat as well as the chats from the live streams. So, anywhere you post, I should be able to see it and respond to you. So there you go. I I thought I was running late. I thought I might start late, but I think we actually started like exactly on time. So there you go. Want to welcome the chatters for sure. We should have adequate time today for some readings and energy work and things. Whatever you guys need, we should be able to get to. So that that's a no-brainer. So I'm glad for that. Oh, how's it going? Our first Christmas fair is on Saturday. And so I've been working really hard to be ready for that because, most of the merchandise I've created thus far was for witches markets and I just, would be mostly out of place. I'll take some of it with me, but a lot of it just isn't right for this market. So, whew, we have been working hard. And this morning I had one of those days. I know you guys can probably relate to this. Do you ever have a day where literally everything you touch just goes to hell? Like nothing really works? Mhm. Me too. Today. I finally gave up and went, "You know what? These aren't going to turn out. You should stop trying to make them and walk away from them. Obviously, the plan didn't work and do something else. So that's what I'm doing now." But gosh, that's frustrating. And yet, I think once upon a time, I was much more reactive to stuff like that. And when things like that happened, I was more angry, frustrated, volatile. And I feel like maybe I've evolved to a point in my life where I can actually say, well, that's cool. To hell with it. So I'm going to be throwing away a bunch of product this morning because it looks like shit and I definitely can't sell it. Some of it I'm not even going to finish because it's not worth my time. But and that's part of it I think is honoring my time and recognizing when something isn't working, stop. Funny how that's a lifelong lesson I think for all of us in some way or another, right? How long do we beat dead horses on jobs that aren't working, relationships that aren't working, medication that's not working? we, we do these things, or just attitudes that aren't working, habits that aren't working. We do these things. We buy in, man. We buy all the way in. I think this is a good time for us to not do that, to refuse to do that, and to recognize the things that are working well in our lives and run with them versus hanging on tightly to the things that aren't. And sometimes I think that just takes the courage to recognize what's not working and, be willing to make a change, be willing to admit it. Sometimes I think it's pride. Sometimes it's probably fear, and sometimes maybe it's something altogether different. But ultimately, you know, it's definitely true that at some point, sometimes we have to make some changes. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about, honestly. I'm a Cancer. We don't do change. No, we don't do change. I'm also, and I know like the craft reference is like nothing in comparison to, a job or a relationship or something enormous. But my Cancerian spirit doesn't like to waste, doesn't like to throw things out. And recently I decided if I have made something that I don't that didn't turn out, I need to be brave enough to, if it can't be recycled, I need to be brave enough to throw it away and not hang on to boxes of things that are literally garbage. Recycle it, get rid of it, use it for something else. But that's been a kind of an interesting thing to me because I'm not a waster. And yet, I also don't want to live in clutter and live in a house full of stuff that's not great just because, just because. And I think that that is an analogy that works for all of us in a sense, in the sense of not wanting to give up on something because you've invested your time in it. I hear this from people about jobs a lot. Jobs that are making you miserable as hell. Places where you are underpaid, absolutely not respected, not taken care of, give much, much more than you get. And even though you know it's probably time to move on from this place, whew, that you've invested so much time. I hear that a lot. And which is understandable in the scope of retirement and money and what do you do next? And all of those things, of course, have to be considered. And I hear this with relationships too, that you've invested so much time in it. How can you possibly walk away from it, even though it is the thing that is making you the most miserable in your life? I don't know what the answer is. It's just food for thought. Yep. Oh, Julia, I'm so sorry. She said, "Thank you for last week's scan. You were right on. Went for a follow up on Friday, and I am overrun with systemic mold, probably from the basement of my building, right under my floors. Oh, and my low level discipline when it comes to house cleaning. Oh, Lord, Tony, I get it. I am the worst housekeeper, truly. uh, would the energies have insight into how long before it gets cleared along with the parasites and liver healing?" Oh, she's a double cancer. Oh my goodness. Let's fill into it, Julia. I'm so sorry. That sucks. However, I'm glad you have an answer because yeah, you should get feeling better. You'll feel worse before you feel better. I don't know if that was explained to you. It probably was. But when you treat stuff like that, it fights back. It's like treating candida. If you guys ever treated candida, oh my God, it will kick your ass before it gets better. But molds is the same way. You'll feel worse before you feel better. But as you get that cleared through your system, you're going to feel a whole lot better. I suspect, Julia, that you've got probably 4 weeks of feeling pretty yucky, and you can double check that with your doctor, certainly, but it'll be a minute. Yep. Yeah, they're in panic mode. Oh, yeah. Yep, but they do fight back for a bit. The thing is, though, your body, when it's supported with the correct medication, is stronger than they are. And so you will run it out. But yeah, expect that. But even as you feel worse, envision your body full of little soldiers or jujitsu guys or, you know, axe wielding goddesses or whatever works for you, whatever visualization would work for you. When I was a kid, I had a friend that had cancer, and they had given her this visualization of teddy bears with clubs because I think they were trying to not give her something too scary to visualize. But now I think about it and I'm like, teddy bears with clubs beating the shit out of cancer. That was the visualization they gave her. It worked. It worked. But whatever visualization works for you and your body, knocking this mold down and dragging it through your system and sending it out the door. That's the best thing we can do. Um, and definitely stay in close touch with your doctors on it too, because worse is one thing, unable to get out of bed is another, right? So you need to stay in close touch with your doctors and make sure that the path of treatment you're on is working and isn't too aggressive and is, getting you from point A to point B. But I think, Julia, you're going to feel a whole lot better. Oh, fire breathing dragons. Okay. I like that one a lot. We'll take it. And honestly, on that note, call dragons in from the dragon plane to help support you in that. That's awesome. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sid said the Herkishmer reaction I had clearing out candida was the sickest I have ever been without actually being sick. There was total war in my body. Ooh. One time I had a doctor that had put me on, it was grapefruit seed extract, right? That's what they use for candida sometimes, which, by the way, my God, that tastes bad. He said, you can just put a dropper full of it in your under your tongue. It's not that bad. Or if you don't like that, you can put it in gelatin capsules. Are you even kidding me? Have you tasted that? There's no way a whole dropper full of that was going in my mouth. Like, oh my God, I tried it once. I almost died. And then I tasted it for like 2 days. That's the most bitter, terrible, and it's thick. You cannot get rid of it. Oh, anyway, capsules, yes. But oh, Sid, I broke out in the most horrific full body rash that went on for days and days. Mhm. Yep. I get you. Totally. Uncool. Oh, okay. Julia said Emerald Dragon, Air Dragons, and Archangel Raphael. Look at you. There you go. That's your battle cry. Hey, Ivy. For sure. Oh, Laurie said ninjas for her. I love it. Love it. Hey, Maya. Okay. And Pamela could use some energy work. We'll get there. Lillian. And of course, Sid. And I'll get to the other chat here in just a minute. Let's take a look at at Lillian and at Pamela. Well, I'll start with Pamela. So Pamela said she would like some energy work. She's holding on to some heavy energy. Babe, you've been slimed. I'm guessing this is family stuff. I'm thinking this has to do with your brother and that situation. But your energy body is heavy as egg. So, yeah, let's get you cleared up. You got a lot of cords in your high heart, too. Plus, I think just the impending changing of seasons is probably affecting you physically. So, yeah, you need some support. All right, so just starting at your feet here. Oh, and your kitty. Yes, and your kitty. Okay, so you have a lot of stress and draw on your system. I'm going to clear your aura here first. I sure feel that in your left hip, like low back, left hip. There's a lot of worry that is settled right there, so I'll clear that. Worry loves to settle in the low back. I don't really know why, but I see that a lot. Good. Good shift here, Pamela. Nice shift in your heart chakra. There was some pretty good heaviness right there, like heavy to the point of I felt like I could finally take a full breath once I got it pulled off. All right, just clearing those cords out of your heart as well. Better. All right, balance your throat. Yeah, you needed some work there. I'm opening that throat up. All right. Tension in your jaw. You probably have some arthritis in your jaw too, but I feel like you've been, that's kind of that action of maybe clenching, but also keeping your mouth shut. All right. Clearing out that third eye and get to your crown. Your crown's awfully big. But again, worry will get you. All right. Okay. So our clear chakra's balanced out. I'm going to clear that worry out of your back. See if we can get that hip feeling a little better. Good. Good, good, good. All right. I'm just going to wrap some light around you. To, pardon the pun, lighten you up. That wasn't my intention, but there it was. Sometimes these jokes write themselves. Okay. That feels a ton better. Yeah. I'm sorry. You just have too much on your plate. Dang it. Okay, Lillian. I don't know why I jumped right into readings. I usually wait till the end of the show, but it just seemed right. If you have time, would you please take a look at my ears? I'm being treated for vertigo, and I hope that goes away soon. It's bloody unnerving. Oh, I'll bet it is. I'm sorry. Yes. So have they cleared ear crystals for you? You might have to go to a chiropractor that specializes in that, but the other thing, Liliane, is I would ask them to check your parathyroids. When your parathyroids are overfunctioning and creating way too dumping your system with calcium, it creates vertigo, and they never catch that. It's like the last ditch effort. So if it's still going on and treating the ears isn't working, I would ask that. But I would definitely look at your ear crystals too and see if you have actually got crystals that are causing this. But way too many times I've had clients that are actually having overactive parathyroids, and that's causing vertigo, and they've treated them for every other thing under the sun. Okay. Okay. I did run some energy between those ears to just see if we could help support them and help get the flow of eustachian or the eustachian tube flow corrected. And there's some inflammation in there, it feels like. Um, yeah. So I'm glad you're getting really good care. And those things I would suggest asking about as well. Okay. Oh, they did clear the crystals. Okay. Good. Oh, dang it, man. Oh, Julia said Epley maneuver. Awesome for vertigo. Look that up. Look that up, Lillian. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Pamela said, I did take a deep breath just as you said that. Awesome. That's a funny thing about energy work. I will feel that like in my heart or that movement. A lot of times that chest, like if I tune into you and I feel like I can't take a deep breath, I will keep working until I can because I know that's because you can't. And that feels awful, whether it's anxiety or it's tension or it's whatever. Yeah. Ivy said, will you give me a message about what someone may think or feel about me? A romance reading. Cannot get this person out of my mind. Yeah, let's take a peek. Ivy, I feel like there was a connection there. I don't think you're imagining that. I feel like there's a strong connection there, an almost unnerving connection because it's so strong. The thing I keep hearing about this person, though, is unavailable. That they've got some things in their life that's kind of preventing them from really fully committing into anything. But you're not wrong about feeling a strong connection there. It was absolutely there. You love my mug, isn't it great? Yeah. Some of the little words or letters are starting to come off, and I thought, I'll just keep using it till it gets bad, then I'll scrub them all the way off, and then maybe I'll just put new ones on, or I don't know. I like it. And it holds a lot of coffee, which is good for me. So on that connection, here's what I would do if I were you. I do feel like at this point they are kind of unavailable for a real relationship, but if I were you, just send them love through your heart chakra and holding the intention that the outcome is in the highest and best good of everybody so that you can feel better. Because this is one of those that I suspect probably has a past life connotation. And that's why it feels so strong and so nagging at you. Just send a little love their way. This may roll back around. Where did I get it? I got it at Healing Hands in Idaho Falls. I wonder if you could find them on Amazon, though. I'll bet you could if you just Google cauldron mug or maybe cauldron ceramic mug. Yeah. I know. I hate to admit this, but this holds 4 cups of coffee. I make a pot of coffee in the morning, and I work on it until about 1, and then I'm done, and then I'm down to water for the rest of the day and an occasional Diet Dr. Pepper. But at any rate, yeah, it's great. But also the little feedsies on it keep it really stable so it won't tip over, and yeah, it's all the good things. Yeah, that's my favorite. Uh, Even more my favorite than my Pioneer Girl mugs. I mean, that's hard to say, except for that they don't hold 4 cups of coffee. So come on, Pioneer woman. What about mugs for the rest of us, right? I don't need these 12-ounce mug. Okay. All right, just checking out the other chat. Oh, Tiffany, yes. So Tiffany has had COVID and her heart and lungs need some love. Yep, let's get on it. Actually, I'm going to do a drumming, a good clearing and balancing because I feel like a lot of us are fairly ungrounded. Yep. All right. All right. I'm just going to put a big green chi ball in that heart and lungs. You're going to recover from this. It's just going to be slow. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but I feel like it's going to take some pretty good time for you to feel like your lungs have fully recovered. And I know there's already uh, your lungs are already compromised. And so this does just add a lot. Stupid COVID, dang it. We all just so damn tired of hearing about COVID and having COVID and COVID, COVID, COVID. My kids are all coming home for Thanksgiving. They're coming home for a week. And one of our activities together is we're going to get our COVID vaccines. All right. I put a big green G ball around that, Tiffany, and we'll just keep working it from that direction. I'm so sorry, man. That sucks. Okay. Oh, Denise said that energy is still getting to her. Sleep is still somewhat elusive. Oh, I'm sorry. Terry said, what I admire about you, Katie, is that you're always open to try new things. And in trying, one has to be open to investing in learning, and there's always a cost. So brava to you. Thank you, Terry. You know, the hard part about it is this, because Scott and I are both creatives, and we both work on projects around here all the time. And some of the time we work together and some of the time we don't. But here's the hard part. Scott really sees things, right? In a way that I don't. I have my gifts. I'm not cutting myself down, but when I try something and he's like, I wouldn't do it like that. I'd probably try it this way. And then it fails. And he was right. He does not say, I told you so. But he knows. He knows. He damn well knows. Yeah. So, boo. And the thing that failed this morning, these signs, he said, I'm worried that this is a bad plan, a flawed plan. And I'm like, no, no, no. No, I watched a tutorial. I watched a few tutorials. I have good equipment. I can do this. Oh, no. Mm-mm, no. So he was right. It's fine. It's probably fine. He won't say it, though. He knows better. Julia said it's a coronavirus. It mutates. That's what they do. That's their life purpose, right? They just they just need to go mutate somewhere else. Yep. Oh, Sid said I often curse my creative streak because it is upsetting when I clutter clear and then get a brilliant idea for what I just discarded. That's the story of Scott's life, actually. He keeps so much stuff that I'm like, you need to like haul that all to the dump. No, it'll go out in the pasture. I might need that. And then when he does need it, he'll be sure and show you. Remember when you told me I should throw this away and I saved it? Well, look. Got it. Yes. Raven said, I'm very familiar with those days where everything you touch goes to shit. Yeah. Right before the show, I had my drum sitting on my printer next to me, all ready for the show, and I bumped the the drumstick with my elbow and knocked it on the floor behind my printer, and had to get something else to reach back there and drag it out so that we could drum today because I couldn't get it. Yeah, that's how it is. Here's my plan though. After the show, I'm done with that. Right? After the show, everything's going to be just fine. That's correct. Moving on to a different project that really can't fail. So that's better. All righty. Rebecca, if you have a chance, I would love a message about a friend of mine. I feel like he just refuses to see a therapist and work on himself, and our friendship is basically over. I'm tired of having compassion, etc., because to me it feels like he just refuses to grow up. Any messages would be appreciated. Rebecca, my gut feeling on that is that you should trust yourself, that you're absolutely correct. That this friendship seems to have run its course. And you have done everything you can for him. But you're right. Compassion goes both ways. And when he's in a state like this, I feel like he doesn't really have much to offer. And that leaves you feeling like the only adult in the room. And that's not okay. I think it's okay to just cut this off or shut it down, knowing that maybe someday he'll work on himself and he'll come back around to you in a way that this friendship could be more healthy. But I feel like at this point it's become quite unhealthy for you. You're not his mama. You should not have to do that. And again, I feel like you have gone down the path of kindness. You've gone down the path of assistance. I feel like you've been there more for him than most other people in his life ever have. But you're right that at some point, if he won't work on himself and he won't get his stuff together, well, maybe he needs to do that path by himself for a while because your mental health and physical health should not have to suffer over and over at his behest. That's not right. I hope he does. I hope he does. I feel like some therapy for him would be mind blowing and life changing. I'm not sure he will. I hope he does. Oh, Tara is in bed sick today and could use some good energy. Let's do it. And I'm so sorry you're sick. Boo. Okay. Stiff low back for you too. Though I don't think it's worry as much. Well, there's some worry maybe, but I feel like moreover it's being sick. It's making you ache. And also probably being in bed is making you ache. Okay. All right. Getting you grounded and centered and just wrapping a lot of thick pink light around you. I feel like this is just going to have to work its way out of your system, but we could bring you a lot of comfort in the meantime. A few notes that came forward. Make sure you treat your pain. Don't just ignore it or try to weather it. I feel like that's just kicking you back down. So the aches, the pains, the stuff that you're feeling, treat that pain. Don't be afraid to you know, treat it however you treat pain, but make sure you treat that, Tara, and don't just let yourself suffer. That's just weakening you and making this worse. And recognize what part of that, that some of this is causing pain in your body and you need to treat the pain so that the rest of you has more energy to heal versus just fighting the pain. Okay, and I'm sorry that you're sick. Norella said the cold weather has her pretty miserable and achy everywhere. Yeah, let's give you a good wrap up too, babe. Okay. And again, I'm going to do a drumming today, and I think that'll help release some extra stuff everybody's carrying so that you can feel better. This last week has been straight chaos. And this week really is rolling out to be better, or it should, but mm-mm. Okay. All right, Norella, you got to do a good job of keeping warm. Layers, socks, maybe keep her thermostat up a little bit higher than you used to. Try and make sure your car is warm before you get in it and sit in it for very long. Really protect yourself as much as you can from cold. It's just really getting to you. Gloves, just more steps than you have normally taken to buffer yourself from the cold. I feel like you've got to do that this year, especially right now. And you'll probably acclimate over time. Most cold weather folks do, but still, really take extra steps. Okay, Laurie said, I'm wondering what's happening with a hip issue that's been ongoing for the last couple of months. Pain in hip joint and right side of lower back, which seems to feel connected. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. Yeah, it's connected. Yeah, let's take a look. So I don't feel like this is an energetic issue. I feel like it is a physical issue. There's some inflammation, Laurie, somewhere between the lower back and hip and where some things connect. And it's a hard one because, obviously you're moving it because you have to, walk, stand up, turn over, those kinds of things. And I feel like you just keep aggravating it. If you haven't had some body work for you, I feel like that would be a really good thing to do. I would also wonder about, if that keeps going on, if you haven't yet, a trip to the doctor to see what they think, because there is something here and it is physical. But it has something to do with the I wanna say tendons, but I feel like tendons isn't exactly the right word, but there's some inflammation here in your connective tissue that needs to be addressed. And I'm not sure what. There's something, why something's causing that. So yes, doctor, see what they can do to help get that tension out of there and the inflammation out of there, because that hurts. That sucks. You don't deserve that. Raven said, "Be nice to crafters. We have enough creativity to make your death look like an accident. And due to a lifetime of hot glue gun burns, we leave no fingerprints." Oh, I can so resonate with that. And also as a true crimer, I mean, come on, man. Oh, she said the sneezing. Tara said the sneezing is making everything cramp up. Ah, no wonder you're hurting. Boo. Norella, you are very welcome. Okay. Yeah, Rebecca, absolutely. Okay, well, let's move on to a couple of things. And if we have more time for readings, I'll come back. I don't know if we will. We're just out of order today. I guess we were just supposed to be. You know how it goes. I'm not in charge here. I'm just going along with the pack. Okay, just pulling up Luminous here. And if you subscribe, you probably received it just a little bit ago. But there was a few things there I wanted to address. Then we'll do some drumming. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Well, maybe. Here we go. I've only done this a million times. You'd think that I would be able to just do it without having to think about it, but no. All right. Well, Thanksgiving is next week, so I started us out with a cornucopia. I think it's time. Don't you? Probably. All right. I'm calling this week's magazine the Kindness Becomes You edition. Why? Because we're heading into a time of year that is a big trigger, a time of year that creates a lot of stress, grief, dread, and this year may be tougher than normal. Maybe, maybe not. But I feel like this is a good year for us to remember that everybody's fighting their own battle, and you just don't know when people might need just a little extra kindness. E- In early childhood, I did early childhood for 10 years. I have a degree in early childhood. And one of the sayings in early childhood that really stuck with me is that people, in the scope of early childhood, it was children, that the children that you want to love the least are the children that need your love the most. And I found that to be true so many times. Why would there be any children you didn't want to love? Maybe you're wondering. Usually it's because their parents were evil. Uh, or sometimes it was their behavior or them or, the kid that shows up that doesn't smell good and usually comes in with a dirty face and a snotty nose and getting into everything. And it's those kids. Those kids need you to love them. They need you to care about them. And I feel the same way as adults in people who are volatile, perhaps people who act out in a way that I maybe you don't appreciate, or people who are not like you. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to be unsafe. It doesn't mean you have to give everyone the shirt off your back. It doesn't mean that you have to put up with friendships like Rebecca's that have run their course. It just means be kind. Just be kind. Even when somebody snaps at you or flips you off or whatever, just be kind. It's a hard one sometimes. I mean, I think you guys are all in general kind people, but I know that I know for myself sometimes that ego steps in or that uh, need to defend yourself steps in, and sometimes kindness goes straight out the window. And it's not even that necessarily. Sometimes it's simply that you know, maybe you're the one in a bad mood and you don't feel like being kind, you know. But this time of year is just hard. It's just worth remembering that people just, they're not their best selves necessarily. All right. So in my musings, I did post a meme from kindness.org, a random acts of kindness.org, celebrating World Kindness Day, and with some suggestions for kindness that I thought were easy ones to remember. Send an uplifting text to a friend or family member. I really like this one because I feel like a lot because of social media and just busy lives, we kind of forget each other. Or this is what I'm bad for. I see friends and family on social media and I forget that they could use an actual in person check in or a trip out to lunch or for coffee or just a visit or even just a phone call, you know, because even people you know well are still probably only putting their best self on social media, right? And so you may not have a clue what's really happening in someone's life or what kind of support or kindness they could use from you if you're just going by what you're seeing them post online. Or the flip side, the ones who go silent. And maybe you're like, huh, I wonder what's going on with Carol. I haven't seen her post anything on Facebook in, 3 weeks. That's your cue to call her. Because some people, when they're not okay, they just go silent. Let that guy merge into traffic with a wave and a smile. And you know which wave. This one, not the other one. Include intentional moments of kindness, laughter, and delight in your daily routine. Go slightly outside of your comfort zone, at least once a day, to make someone smile. Share a compliment with a coworker or a friend. Reach out to a family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Treat someone to a cup of coffee, a friend, a stranger, or even yourself. All easy ones that will make you feel amazing because when you are in the service of others, your brain releases amazing feel good hormones. You know that, right? Honestly, service can be a fairly selfish thing. Not really, but in the sense that you do get something. You get a serotonin boost that maybe you really needed. We all need that. It's not actually selfish. I'm joking, but you get it. Okay. I think that's probably all I want to do with Luminous today. You guys, I'll have a link now, or if not, you already received it. So there's lots of good stuff in there to partake of, but we don't really have time to do it all today. So there you go. Oh, Terry said she also worked in childcare for over 30 years off and on. Ah, you know exactly what I'm talking about then, right? Mm-hmm. I keep watching these TikTok creators that are acting out, you know, scenes or episodes of situations in their daycares, and it's just all too relatable, man. Whew. Ay, ay, ay. If you know, you know. Yep. Okay. Let's drum. So I'm going to drum with the back of the drum facing the mic so that the vibration of the drum comes through for you guys. All you have to do is breathe. Just breathe and let go and allow you to just relax. The intention that we're holding is to allow the frequency or the vibration of the drum to help to remove and dissolve any energy you're carrying that's not serving you, anything that doesn't belong to you, anything that could be holding you back or holding you down. So I'll drum for 2 or 3 minutes here. Some people, it kicks off some fight or flight. And if that happens, just try to breathe with it. And if you can't, turn it down. It's okay. We'll just do our best. All right, here we go. I like the way that felt for me. Had a nice shift of anxiety shift out of my heart chakra. I hope that was beneficial for you guys as well. We needed some clearing because we, at least here in the US, when 50% of us are mad as hell, it really it really affects the whole collective. So, ick. We just all need to feel better, right? And put more focus on things that we love and that we care about versus the things that are causing most of the distress in us. So, there you go. I was thinking while I was drumming that it would be nice sometime to do a show about drumming. Seems like every time I drum for you guys, it's kind of a flyby, that we just do it for a few minutes and I don't have much of an opportunity to explain a lot. But one of these days, we'll do a whole drumming show and talk about different kinds of drums and the history of drumming because drumming has been around in cultures for time immemorial. It's a pretty amazing thing that actually ties a lot of cultures together, whether you know it or not. Eddie said it amazes me how self-involved we become as people. It's sad. It is sad. It's true. It's true. And I think it's just kind of the way it's the way the winds have blown us. But I, and I think part of it's just because we are mostly self-sufficient anymore, you know, and you kind of just do your own thing and stay in your own lane. I really marvel at the families that I know, that the Hispanic families that I know that have multi generations living under one roof. And that's very cultural for them, but it's a wonderful thing. It's not an abnormal thing to have an abuela, a grandma, or even, you know, a an aunt or an uncle or, an aging family member live with you. That's kind of expected. And it's a wonderful thing because they get to be involved in the lives of the children and they don't live alone and be lonely as hell and maybe kind of unsafe and also spending so much money to have so many households. I wish that we could get back to that as more of a norm, that multi generations live under the same roof and help each other and operate more as families. And maybe not even your family, but your chosen family. Because yes, there's this energy now, this kind of societal, I think, expectation that you do your own thing, you take care of yourself. That's how it is, you know. And in fact, when you see younger people move in with grandparents or parents and move their families in, there's some judgment attached, right? That maybe they can't make it on their own. They can't pay their own bills. Maybe there's kind of a expectation there, a judgment there that they suck because they're not doing it themselves. I don't think I don't think it's right. I think we need to change that on every level. Ivy said, I'm Hispanic. It is pretty norm. We take anyone in. I know you guys do. Ivy and I honor that like crazy. Yeah, the Japanese as well. I honor that. I think we need to get back to that so much. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, the Asian cultures have it right. Yes, we are all family. I love it, Ivy. I do. I wish that our society would keep pushing us more that way. And maybe it's just up to us, to get there. I had read a while back that one of the worst epidemics in the elderly is actually loneliness. And that makes me so sad and breaks my heart because it shouldn't be like that. It doesn't need to be like that at all. But I think it goes back, Eddie, to your comment about us being so self involved that we kind of forget the uh, the way to connect with other people, not just our ability, but also our obligation to. Yeah. Pamela said we had 4 generations under one roof at one point. Wow, that's amazing. I love that. Julia, been reading Diana Cooper's novels. The second one, Codes of Power, talk a ton about how to live in the best possible. Oh, and connected. Marlo Morgan's Mutant Message from Forever. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Sid said the daily stress and increasing dangers of workers dealing with the general public who frequently exhibit high levels of entitlement and self centered behavior is truly astounding. How could you actually shoot someone because your food is cold? Yeah, yes. There's a case in a community not terribly far from mine right now where a child, a 5 year old's been missing for about 16 months. And there's finally been some movement on that and an arrest made. And it looks like potentially somebody ran this little one over. And rather than call the police, the ambulance, do the right thing, they buried him in their backyard and have allowed the entire community to search for this kid for 16 months, allowed his parents to be in this place of torture and torment because they didn't want to bear the consequences. And I know that's a really extreme one, but it is the the choice of not being accountable and the choice of being that selfish. Holy shit. Yeah. All right, just jumping in the other chat here quickly. You are welcome for the drums. Yeah, that really makes me wanna do a whole drumming show. My big drum, is down right now, the head is off. I need to convince Scott maybe around the 1st of the year after some of our, busyness has, let up for a few minutes that we I wanna have him rehead that drum. I need the whole new head. The head is shot. We need to buy a new head for it and, do the soaking, the stretching, the restringing of the drum. Maybe I'll wait to do a drum show until I have that one, because then I would have 3 drums as well as my, steel drum to show you and talk about, so we'll see. Can't really pour any more stress on the guy right now. For sure. Oh, good lord. Why? Why do we get people in this chat that do these things? Yes, I will ban them right now. Block user. Okay, there we go. Oh, I accidentally liked their comment. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Yep. What is my take on what caused the extreme decline in humans' mutual care and respect of one another? Ah, I wish I had one. I think some of it is that we have been so driven to succeed that at whatever, that we continue to drive and push ourselves. I think, okay, maybe I'm not putting that quite correctly. I think part of it is that we have been so conditioned to what success is, right? And so we're so determined to be out there living in that societal idea of what success is. So, what's success? Maybe it's an education or a good job, right? Or hopefully both. Having your own house, right? Have you arrived when you purchase your own home, or at least rent and live under your own roof? Is it about having a nice car? Is it about, yes, having the paycheck? I think a lot of that contributes to it, Sid, and I'm sure there's more to it there than that. I am I'm probably looking through it maybe but through too specific of a lens, but those are things that really come up for me that we have been society has told us that this is what success looks like. And as 18-year-olds, we throw kids out in the nest going, go out there and find it, go get it. This is what success looks like. And yet it's not necessarily making people happy. The idea that the people on the planet, the countries where people live with the least, or even the very few truly indigenous peoples who are mostly untouched from the outside world, that they're the happiest because they don't have all of the societal stress and pressure to have all of the stuff and these extremely busy lives. And I look at people that work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, which who doesn't, a lot of people do, to have what they have, right? And sure, maybe you have a big, beautiful home and you drive really nice cars, and maybe you have lots of other things that, you know, other people don't. You have every electronic. Maybe you have four wheelers and side by sides and all the toys, but you work so much you never get to enjoy them. Is that happiness? If it is for you, I mean, more power to you, but is it? I think time could make us happy. Familial units, friend units. I think that there's a lot of energy, for me at least, in having time, the time to actually enjoy your life, the time to explore your life. I always think about my daycare moms years ago, whose kids were at my house for 45 plus hours a week. And I loved their kids and I took good care of them. I hope I did. It was always my every intention to, treat them all the same as I raised my own. But those mamas would show up in the morning so exhausted, so worn out, near tears every morning. They'd drop these exhausted kids off that were maybe half dressed, did or didn't sleep last night, you know, whose needs were mostly met by mom the best she could, but you know, she's dropping them off at my house. It's like 7:30 in the morning. She's going to go work all day long, maybe pick them up at 5:30, get home just in time to throw some dinner together and bath these kids and put them in bed all week, all the time. And then at the end of the week, she'd write me a check for daycare that was probably half of her paycheck. Was it worth it? Were they happy? No, they weren't. Everyone was miserable. But society said, this is how we live. We have some reshaping to do and some reprioritizing to do. And I hope we can try to continue to do that with our younger generations. I kind of feel like Gen Z is going to do it. They also are seeing the fallacy in the societal happiness that's been suggested to us, and I think that they might be the ones who really, really rock the boat and change things up. We'll see. We have to support it. We can't make fun of kids that live in their parents' basement anymore. We have to support the idea that things could be different and that happiness is achieved in different ways. Yeah. Well, I have pontificated long enough. Time to get off of my soapbox. We're done. Don't forget, I'm a professional psychic advisor over at one2listen.com. And I am certainly over there anytime to help out. If you head over to listen and I'm not there, that's number one, number 2listen.com. Uh, all you have to do is submit a callback request, and I will be right with you as soon as I can. Or a scheduled call if you have a certain time that you want to connect, and I'll do what I can to make that happen. So, thanks you guys so much for being here. Please take excellent care of yourselves. I'll be around and I'll be back. I am so much better, Lillian. Thank you so much. Yep, I will. You stay healthy too and get those ears taken care of. Dang it. All righty, guys. Take care. This has been the Katie Weaver Show here on 1 2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.